Alrighty folks, welcome to our second of 3 Angels of Delusion guide. This one going to be to the lead singer, Aria. And although she might be the perfect singer, will she be the perfect character for you? Many in the community have spoken high praise of her amazing damage potential, but let's break down her kit, playstyle, and numbers to see if she's the right fit to be front and center stage. Aria comes into the cast as an Ether Anomaly Unit whose goal is to get into the stun window and slam dunk on the competition. And as we just mentioned, she's an anomaly who essentially rotates like an attacker character, which is quite the interesting concept, as in the past few months, we've been able to see blends of playstyles and bunch of class kits together, like with Dailin, who is a support as much as she's a stunner, and Jshoea, who's attack, yet can tackle Miasma like a rupture unit. In our case here, it's about the usage of the character and when Aria comes online. Get it? Because she's an intelligent construct. Anywho, let's firstly discuss Aria's main attack, which is the booty bump. This attack comes from her basic, the perfect pitch, featuring Wilson Rebel. Aria will enter a charging state and will go for 3 levels. The first level will be off of activation, and then you'll see 2 boosts. Each level will increase the Ether Anomaly buildup by 10%, stacking up to 2 times for 20%. But this whole attack is so slow. Well, that's where Aria's new stacks come in, called Fandom Power, aka these little cheerleaders on the field, aka the light sticks at the bottom of her HP bar. I've learned from Harmasa's prison stacks to help keep us track, which is super nice. From here, once you've initiated the first ground pound, you can consume 2 Fandom Power to immediately booty bump again until you do not have a pair of stacks to consume. What's great is that aside from doing the charge attack, you can shorthand this attack line to the 3rd charge immediately after using chains, ults, and specials, such that during the limited stun window, especially after you ult, you may immediately start putting bodies to the flow. And for those wondering how to gain Fandom Power, here is your list. First, starting with basics, you can gain 1 after your basic attack string. Your EX will grant you 3, 4 from the Ether Veil, and 4 from your ult. And one fun thing about the EX special is that if you have enough for 2 charges, you can actually stack them together to shorthand the second attack. That'll save you a bit of time. And speaking of her ult, let's go to her chain and ult, which the chain, to be honest, is nothing too special, but helps to initiate the offense in the stun window. Then you have the actual ultimate, called 100% energy. What is she, Mob Psycho? Well, she might as well be, because after this ability, which also hits for over 3000% by the way, will allow you to gain the status called the Moment of Delusion. Once Aria enters this angelic state, she gains 3 stacks of All Out Cheer, which are special stacks of booty bumps that you can use without consuming any power stacks. As well, she self-activates an Ether Veil Delusions Reprise, which is the same one that Suna does, that grants 50 attack for 30 seconds, which can override and reactivate the Veil if there's already one on field. This is going to be important in around 30 seconds when we talk about the core ability, so keep this in mind. Then after you attack with the ult, remember how you can immediately shortcut to the ground pound charge attack? Well, you'll want to start slamming down as you can utilize 3 stacks of the All Out Cheer, then all the extra stacks of power that you've built up prior to the gray portion of your stun window, as most likely folks will want to use this after the 2 chains of the rainbow portion of the stun. So as to showcase our attack combo here, we'll start in the stun window with another character to chain first with Aria. Cancel, 2 booty bumps, and chain Aria again, ult, then booty bump away. To optimize this rotation further, we can even fit in over 10 booty bumps and focus purely on her bloom damage, which makes up the majority of her damage chart. Ideally, we actually initiate the whole chain with Aria's ultimate. Cancel chain to deal her full amount of booty bumps, then activate Suna's Veil that will allow us to refresh another 4 power stacks. And alongside another EX special, can do upwards of 3 to 4 booty bumps to end the stun. Usually I have a whole section dedicated to the combat for Aria, but I'll be honest, she's as straight as they come. Where her complexity comes in is her resource management, as well as factoring in her passives, which let's talk about them right now. Stop. make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because it's my birthday and I'm actually going to be giving away a $50 monochrome pack. All you gotta do is be subscribed and comment below on our next 5 videos. Ask me a question or talk about your insane refresh poll. This next month, we're trying to hit 35k subscribers here on YouTube. So come along for the journey and back to the video. Aria's core is called the Innate Stage Presence, and with it, will increase her AP by 90 points, basically gifting you a whole 4 main stat bonus line. Then, after the heavy lands a hit on the opponent, if they are inflicted with any anomaly beforehand, you can trigger in a Bloom, which is not the first time we've heard an on-fielder being able to trigger them, as we now have the evolved form of Grace who can. Yet this is on a whole different level, as she's able to bloom her own corruption or ether anomaly, and with the increased 20% anomaly mastery and other bonuses that can stem from her drive and WEngine investments, she'll be able to bloom almost every ground pound, which just means all that much more damage. But it doesn't end there. Yes, we have the anomaly damage, but this is where all the focus of being in stun comes in, as you'll be able to gain a 50% stun damage multiplier if the target is stunned. Oh, sorry folks, this is not a trigger situation where it applies all the time. Yet, if you compare her with strong stun options, you'll be able to find a ton of success with her, as she is consistent, strong in her numbers, and pretty easy to pick up. Oh, and one more thing. Let's hit up the additional ability, the Collaborative Stage. That with a stunner, support, or same faction by her side, she can gain 4 power points each time a veil comes up, and corruption from any squad member has its duration extended by 3 seconds. For the folks in the back who are a bit confused as to why this is so integral to Aria's performance, let's bring in Professor Josh to explain.
Ahem. Why, hello there, young chaps and chaplets. It's your very young and hip professor, Professor Josh, and 6767. So let's discuss today why Aria's passive is so strong. As there are 5 elements, 3 of them are dot damage types. Dot standing for damage over time. This can be seen with her corruption, as it will do a tick of damage for a certain amount of time. Yet, let's consider how disorder numbers are calculated. With the dot damage elements, you will actually be condensing the damage of the remaining time into the total burst of damage. So if you were to have more time on the dot, this means you would in theory have more ticks of damage, equating to more total damage in consideration of the disorder, which can be visualized like this. Now that you know why increasing the duration of your anomaly is so important, you can take the mic back. The regular big chud low cow Josh.
Whoa, Professor Josh, where did he even learn those terms? Anyways, well, Professor Josh is right. And now with more ether anomaly damage, more disorder, frequent blooms, and crazy damage multipliers to boot, let's see how to actually build this tank of an ether anomaly DPS. Well folks, here we are at Enzo's Bang Boo shop, and since we have a robotic idol on our hands, I thought it fitting we'd hit up the one-stop shop for any mechanical needs in order to help us construct our intelligent construct. Let's first start with the WEngines, as this is more than likely the biggest question most folk have on their hands. How much different is this signature to the other available WEngines? And the unfortunate answer is, whew, a lot. Let's take a look at why. The signature WEngine of Aria's is the Angel in a Shell. This WEngine is quite nuclear in its potential, as not only does it have strong stat lines, but its activation conditions are so easy to do, even a baby could use this. Base stats are a strong 713 attack with 30% anomaly mastery. Take this option away and at base you just lose shy of 50 points in anomaly mastery. Absolutely diabolical for how much of a difference that'll make down the line. Then the passive, you automatically gain 90 AP right off the bat, and after swapping the equipped character, who has to be either, like literally that's it, you can gain 20% damage bonus if the enemy is afflicted with an attribute anomaly. And then all anomaly damage the equipped unit deals gains 10%. All this lasting 15 seconds. Yet don't worry, as this option is not just for Ether, as the condition can also be applied from a special or EX special, making this WEngine one of the strongest overall anomaly engines outside of the ones that generate a ton of AP. Now in all honesty, is the Weeping Gemini the worst pick in the world? No way! Because of how Aria is still set up, there will be moments pre-stun where you'll still be able to build up to your max 4 anomalies pretty quick, meaning your whole stun window should have the 192 AP when the Weeping it is at a refinement or potential 5. And let's actually bring up an option that I personally sleep on for other anomaly units, yet not here. Yes, folks, we're bringing in the big old lips, the Electro Lip Gloss. At Refinement 5, you get 16% attack bonus and 25% overall damage bonus. This is actually gnarly. And because AP isn't going to be the end-all be-all as an anomaly, the Electro Lip Gloss actually turns out to be amazing, and even that much more consistent in performance, as with Aria, who eventually will want more stunners by her side like Trigger or Nangong. The Weeping Gemini might not have its time to ramp up, and thus be a little bit more shaky in output. And for those of you who are looking for the premium alt of the Flight of Fancy, hey, don't worry, you guys won't be disappointed in that output too. It is quite the proficient WEngine as well. Let's swiftly move over now to the drive discs, and these are honestly pretty set in stone, as Aria herself manifests exactly what she needs, and the priority lies in Anomaly Mastery. But just before that, let's talk sets. The Shining Aria is, wow, big shocker, going to be the best in slot here, with either bonuses, good AP, and great damage multipliers for when you reach stun. This option is going to be the go-to. However, let's not discount the Phaethon's Melody as a great set as well. However, the bonuses are not going to be as strong, yet with its condition being another character popping its own EX, it's so easy to just have one of your supports or sub-anomaly characters pop theirs within the stun window to keep the party going. Just won't be numerically wise as potent. Hey, post at a Josh here to come in and say that after doing a bit more math, the Phaethon's Melody is actually much stronger than the Shining Aria than I had initially anticipated. And after not only theory crafting, but testing in the field, it turns out to be almost 5%, and even at times 10% better in performance based on the stage. Even though it's not bad if you've already pre-farmed for the 4 Shining, I just need to come here and set the record straight, because the Phaethon's is just a bit more consistent all the way through. Kind of like how we see with Astral Voice versus Moonlight Lullaby at times. Well, now back to the video. Then the 2-piece is all but assured in the 2 Phaethons for its Anomaly Mastery bonus. Here are other great alternates as well. And lastly, main stats. With Aria's base 188 Anomaly Mastery, you'd think she'd have enough. But like Sharpay in High School Musical 2, she needs more. And with 2 set AM bonus, she'll want Anomaly Mastery in the 6th slot. The 5th slot will generally be based off of your support, but in experience, Ether will be your best. Attack is easier to grab. Then 4th slot will be your classic Anomaly Proficiency, but in a vacuum, Attack actually performs slightly better because of the effect it can have to boost the raw damage of the ults, Chains, and a Bloom damage themselves, whereas the AP will only go to the Corruption. But don't forget, you also get a ton of attack from your supporting cast. So both are actually super competitive. Just choose whichever you get the best countering substat from. Ideally, AP main and attack sub. Lastly, for those who say skills on anomaly characters don't matter, well, they do for this spunky one. So make sure to focus on the booty bumps through her basic and then ults and specials, then dodge and assist thereafter. And just because Aria doesn't know what Miasma is, doesn't mean you are excused from knowing how to build her. And if this segment wasn't enough, well, don't worry, as I have a great infographic guide here that'll be your one-stop shop to helping you build an idol. And if you love to catch more early access Zenless Zone Zero content like this and some, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we're heading towards 35k. Let's now move on to the team showcase portion, as many folks are very interested in questions related to the supporting cast, in particular Suna and Nangong, who has yet to make her appearance. But let's start with her team showcase with Aria and Suna, and so far they are exemplary. The fact that Suna can pop the Ether Veil so quick versus some of the other characters like Lucia and Zhao, Suna is the cutest green bean to pair with Aria in the backcourt. As far as third units go, why not grab the best anomaly stunner we have on the market, Trigger. She's been amazing for most hypercarry anomaly teams, namely Alice and the honored one, Hoshimi Miyabi. Then let's not forget about one of the best stunner pushers in the game, Qingyi. Yes, with Qingyi's awesome ability to be the on-fielder during stun setups, provides so much stun damage multipliers and backseat once you've hit the rainbow. And don't forget about Lycon's new potential upgrade and his new buffs. And alas, let's take a look at some sub-anomaly units like Bernice, who is probably the only one outside of Vivian to keep up with Aria's pacing out of stun. And of course, we can even pair Alice together as Alice's burst of assaults through her polarized assault charge attack can make for a strong duet of physical and ether anomaly. But Josh, isn't there another support unit that you wanted to talk about? Who else is competing with Suna? Well, my friends, that is the red bean, that being Jshoea, of course. And with slightly stronger buffs, yet less frequent quick assists and no ether veil, Jshoea stays very competitive off of the bonuses alone and honestly will be another great support in all the teams mentioned above. Like seriously, you can just replace Suna with Jshoea in all of those team suggestions. Yet let's not forget you can even put these two supports together. However, to find greater success, you're going to have to be very selective with the stages and make use of Aria a lot more out of stun, so our resources and playstyle will be a bit different here. Then let's head to the alt pairings, as I'm not going to leave you with just Suna and Jshoea, of course, because the Lighter and Lucy pair, alongside the newly revamped Lycon and Sokaku pair, come highly recommended as non-meta teammates, as each have strong stun potential and usable buffs to get you to at least 3-starring DA or hitting S on your Shius if piloted well. Extra options such as Aria, Nicole, or even Orphean Trigger come to mind, yet just make sure that whatever you're cooking, you're doing with intention. And to wrap us up here, let's head over to the Mindscapes. Many folks have given me quite the reception to the M6 Suna video, and aside from our generalist guides like we're doing here, I think we will be doing some M6 Aria showcases soon. But let's go through her vertical investments to see if they're worth it for you, starting with the M1 called the Energetic Sound Waves. This Mindscape has her attacks ignore 10% of either anomaly buildup res, great for corruption pushing, and when Aria triggers a bloom, there is actually a chance to crit with a base crit spread of 25 and 25. If the initial anomaly mastery exceeds 100 points, each point will increase this effect by 0.5%. So doing math, if you have 200 anomaly mastery, then you'll end up with 50 extra crit rate, totaling 75%. With an M1W1 build, your AM will actually shoot up to over 250, 253 to be exact. This gets you to 75 plus crit rate, allowing you to crit on blooms 100% of the time. This M1 is quite diabolical, and considering the amount of blooms you'll be doing in your stun window, sheesh, that is a whole lot of extra damage. The M2 feeds off the bloom buffing and allows the blooms to ignore 16% defense, and during the moments of delusion status after ultimates, general attacks alongside the blooms will ignore an additional 8% target defense ignore. Not too shabby. M3 and M5 are skill increases as per usual, and M4 allows for better sustain during non-stun windows by granting 4 energy and 70 decibels per bloom every 10 seconds. Quite the weak Mindscape, all things considered, but it doesn't hurt to have. All this to push to our last Mindscape, the M6, which is what many whales dream of. This Mindscape called the Construct's Dream. Upon entering the battlefield, Aria will gain extra decibels to push for a faster ult, and when in the moments of delusion state, she will not exit and stay in there for the duration of the fight. She'll also enhance her basic charge attack and ult to deal 40% more ether damage, and the piece de resistance. Every time an enemy enters the anomaly state, you will gain a stack of all-out cheer, aka the free booty bump, once every 6 seconds. Essentially, if you space this out within the stun window, theoretically you should have 2 to 3 of these for free. And since you can only stack 3 all-out cheer, the stack will convert into 2 power stacks, aka the light sticks. So make sure that you're ground pounding away with all your newly found stacks and greater damage bonuses. And as so far as what Mindscape I would suggest to people who are willing to spend, M1W1 is where I would personally stop. Yet, don't get me wrong folks, M0 with an alternative WEngine works just fine, especially if you have a solid selection of supports around her. And even if you're relatively new to the game or picking it back up from a break, having Aria as your front runner as one of the strongest anomaly units to date won't be a bad idea. And with that, thank you so much for watching. These guides have not been easy to make, especially with our increasingly busy schedule. So I really do hope that you guys enjoyed and found a bunch of great information here. As folks on the Twitch and YouTube lives already know, we're running a bunch of fun events, collabs, and giveaways for you guys. So make sure to stay tuned to what fun community events we have going on next. And with that, I gotta prepare for the next 404 live concert. Thank you guys so much for enjoying our early access Aria guide, and my name is Josh. We'll see you in the next one. Matane.